we can kick this off. I'll say 10:04, call to order.
So be it. We always skip over number 3, which is open forum.
Yeah, I would pretty much take that in turn with any item that we've got, and we can continue to do the same. I don't see any members of the public per se here, so I think we can just kind of jump into the items. If it's helpful for folks, I can share the screen here with the agenda and the various items.
That would be great. It looks like the site is loading very slowly today.
We got an email just about half an hour ago that the city's overall website, I have pulled up most of the stuff, so hopefully we're still good from me pulling it up, but the city's website was having some intermittent issues. So we've got the minutes for the last meeting. Any questions or motion in a second?
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, David, thank you.
I read them.
All in favor? Or
Aye.
Aye.
6 and and Sarah is still absent. So back to the agenda here. The next item is the election. Why don't I stop, or I can launch. I did a poll here, and before we do that, I wanted to note that Harvard will not be joining the board for another term. It was determined that unfortunately Harvard, although he was willing to continue, was no longer eligible as he's moved outside of San Jose. So I wanted to take a quick minute to say thank you, Harvard, for your time on the board. But as we move on to the elections for the chair and vice chair, Harvard's name will not be one of the names listed there.
Arian,
Yep.
I just want to note that a turnover of the chairmanship is a good thing. So I will not run for another term.
Do we
It's been
vote
fun.
on that?
What's that?
Can we vote on that?
No. Going to vote you the chair, Charlie.
That's just spiteful. That's all that is.
No, I think a turnover would be good. I think I've had a couple of terms and I've enjoyed them all, but
Hi,
sorry,
sir.
Harvard, you should have been here.
Well, I remember a conversation we had last year when there was elections, and Charlie was so enthusiastic about me taking the vice chair role that
I
I'm
remember.
like, if he's a good candidate for the chair role this year.
I thought I got the vice chair role this time. I thought we swapped.
No.
I think that's the case.
All right, well here, I'm just gonna launch this poll and this will be open to those board members. So if you could please make your selection here. If I do this, you should see the names for a chairperson and a vice chairperson minus Harvard. And it sounds like Henry does not want to be considered. If you can make your votes once I see 7.
That was fun. Can we do elections that way?
I see 5 responses. There they are. There's 7, 4, 5, 7, end.
You can't vote for yourself, right, Arian?
I think you can. It looks like Charlie will be the chair and David will be the vice chair.
I didn't vote for myself. What happened if nominated, I won't run, if elected, I won't serve? Where did that go when I needed it?
There's the results. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
So
for the
now-
compliment, guys. I'll try to do my best to live up to Henry's leadership that he's shown over the years.
Thank you, Charlie. You'll do just fine. You'll be better than me. So we want to go to 5C.
5C is the work plan, which should be this tab here, if you can see that. So this work plan doesn't deviate much from what we've done over the last several years. We did, based on the heels of our last DPV meeting, we did add one item to all of the meetings for the next fiscal year, and that is the review and potential revision of the existing meter district area reserve. So that came out of our last conversations. And Heather, if you want to maybe expand on that at all.
Sure, just real quick. Good afternoon, or I guess good morning, everyone. As Arian said, this was an ask that we put this on the work plan for this upcoming year for us to be able to discuss kind of the meter reserves as they currently exist on the books, the parameters and the kind of assumptions around those reserves, the meter district reserves, as I mentioned, that are currently on the books. And if there is a desire to modify what has currently been approved by the board and council, and then kind of work through what that might look like and how that might, what the mechanics of that might be if there is a desire to change. So, and then we move that to council for final approval should the board decide that changes are desired. So as Arian said, it's been put on the meeting or the work plan for every meeting in the next fiscal year, because this is probably a long conversation. There's probably a lot of moving parts, both to understand the reserves and kind of the history, and then also to see where it might go and where the desire is for it to move to in the future, and how that plays out in the city kind of budget ecosystem and kind of the various meter districts. So that's where we are on that. And this will require your approval as an add to the work plan.
Any
And so this
comments on the
is-
work plan?
Sorry, Henry. Henry, were you saying something?
Are there any other comments on the work plan?
And so this is a draft as it stands right now. And at the next September meeting, you'll see is that we actually approve the work plan. So if there's any additions, edits, or anything else that we'd like to either put in or remove from here, we should do it now. And then I would bring the final one to the September meeting.
Is there something that needs to be in here with the Sharks and their situation with Google? And yeah, so I don't know what was done and said. I haven't asked behind the scenes to get the Sharks, voting in favor or saying positive things in favor of the Google stuff last week or 2 weeks ago. But if there are ramifications about parking and garages or spaces in the downtown, somehow, and maybe it needs to be more discreet than Sharks and parking, but somehow I think that needs to get addressed here.
I'm not aware of any direct, items that came out of that the board would be, have a purview over, aside from, the budget's probably the biggest one. If there's any allocation of funding for anything in the Diridon area, which we certainly have capital monies historically earmarked for that, and that's some of the conversations. But I'm not aware of any policy related stuff that the DPB would be involved in.
I'm not sure, but I thought I understood that Google was guaranteeing parking spaces for the Sharks.
Just as any development has, there is a requirement of their development to provide parking. And I think there'll be close coordination between any entity, Google, VTA, BART, as projects occur in that area that will, have to coordinate with the city and with the Sharks.
Can
And
I
there
make
is a
quick
regular,
question?
just
Sure,
real
yeah.
quick, David, there is a line item on our agenda that's a regular space holder for updates related to that. Typically, we have the planning group come and provide updates and information. So that will be coming to you through that mechanism on the agenda. So you will be kept updated of things that are happening that way.
I guess what I would suggest, I think what people are saying in a way is it possible to have a report in September on whatever happened with the sharks and what implications, if any, there would be for the rest of the parking that's involved, that we're involved with. Just tell us what happened and what it could be a page or a half a page really of information. And then my other question is, for all these, I'm new, obviously, and so all these items that are listed with dots in September, for instance, there's going to be a little bit of information provided to us ahead of time on each one of those, right? So I'm not familiar with what all these things are. And if there's any chance that we could get it, I hate to say it, but a couple of weeks ahead of time so we can review the material, that would be helpful. So that's my only comment.
The material goes out no less than 7, and I think it's closer to 10 days in advance of the meeting. And
Well, that's fine with me, as
that's
long
the
as
city's requirement. So we always adhere to that. You're welcome to go back to September of last year's meeting or any year on, well, maybe not right this moment as the city's website might be experiencing technical difficulties, but if you want to explore what the 2021 CIP update document was for a prior year, you're welcome to go and take a look at that just to familiarize yourself with it.
Thank you. I will do that.
I mean, just because I don't own anything, I guess we could ask around to those that are responsible for the downtown west development and any conversations that happened and any agreements that were signed to see if they could provide us with some information. It's just not something that we in DOT parking own and would be responsible for, generating a memo to the downtown parking board. So maybe I'm looking to.
Yeah, I just agree with that, Arian, that we could definitely have some a presentation or a briefing or some information brought at the next meeting. As I mentioned, under that line item in the agenda where we have those updates, we can definitely pencil that in for September.
So I'll make a note under what we typically have under line item 8, reports and coordination. We have a kind of a standing one. There wasn't anything on there today. But we can put back what's usually there for Deer area development, and I'll make sure that's at the September meeting and we'll come up with some information to share.
Yeah, because it looks like it's on other meetings, the Deer Station updates. So maybe it's just a cut and paste from other meetings that we're having.
Yeah, we'll certainly add it to the agenda. So add under reports and coordination. Downtown West.
And is our next meeting September, early September? Is that?
Yeah, September 1st.
Did you already put these dates in our calendars as an invite?
I don't know that I have.
So maybe what we should do is, make sure they are on our calendars for this and the next year. Because then I like it when it's on the calendar early on, because then you have a pretty good view when you may need to schedule something.
Yeah, I would go ahead and encourage you all to mark these dates on your calendar, and then I will follow up with the invites.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments on the work plan?
No.
We'll move on to 6A.
Okay,
Budget.
item 6A, the 21-22 budget and 5-year CIP. That is this document here. So if you've had a chance to review it, I just wanted to give a quick overview. So between when we presented the proposed budget back in March to when it was published in May, there were some changes. So we've highlighted what those changes were with this variance column here, just to give you a quick snapshot of what changed between March and May in the city's budget process. From a revenue standpoint, the miscellaneous line item was dropped down by a couple $100,000. This line item historically is where revenues went from businesses purchasing validations, which has diminished significantly because of COVID, but also because now we're giving the 90 minutes free. So that we moved downward based on what we were seeing. In terms of expense impacts, our contractual services line was the biggest one. We had dropped that down during COVID. We were proposing to keep it down pretty significantly going into the next year, and talking with the budget office and projecting out a little bit, it was recommended that we move that back up by $1 million from 6.5 to 7.5, but acknowledging that we're likely to have to move that back down, and we would be doing that in our annual report or mid-year process. So that was the biggest expense impact on the budget. From a city staffing side, we had budgeted an increase, I believe, of 4%. The budget office came back and said, increase that to 8%. So that was a $100,000 increase there. There was a reduction in our overhead. These are for services or other departments that provide services to us. The attorney's office, public works, ITD, HR, costs for space in the building. We have always seen increases in that line item year over year. We projected an increase to 2 million. They reduced it significantly down to just under 1.6. So we saw a savings of 600,000 in the budget there. One area where we increased was our police garage security detail. This is where we hire off-duty San Jose police officers to do patrols through our garages downtown, predominantly on nights and weekends. We had dropped that down during COVID. We had originally proposed to keep it down, but then saw opportunities and obviously kind of the need as the downtown, as we've seen, to keep that going. So we've increased that back up to 150,000. And then the only other change from when we presented last time was the City Hall Debt Service Fund, which I don't know the exact answer as to why that was reduced down. Maybe they've restructured some of their debt and the rates went down, but that went down by nearly $16,000. So that's the operating side of the budget. I'm not going to read this to you, but what we've done is, we heard you guys pretty loud and clear that you didn't get all of the information on some of the financials related to capital. So this time we just cut and paste straight out of the city's budget book, the capital budget document, which includes the overview and the source and use of funding. So I thought I'd spend just a second kind of reviewing that source and use, which highlights what we had done previously. Is we would take just kind of the budget, the project lines, and show you those, review those, the amounts that we were doing. This time you see, here's our beginning balance within the capital fund. There are transfers into this fund. These are revenues into the capital fund from our operating fund. So in this year, we put in 754,000. We are projecting that in the 5th year of our 5-year CIP, we will put 4 million back in. And that's really because we will be taking large sums of money, or projecting to take large sums of money from the capital into the operating due to the reduction of revenue from COVID. And so that's the source. This is where we start with the balance. And then here's where we use the money. So these project line items have not changed since we reviewed them with you last time. Elevators, greater downtown area multimodal, 50,000 a year. Green technologies, 200,000. Minor facilities, 1.75 for the 5 years. And it totals the 2.825 each year. Here's where we're projecting to take money and transfer it from the capital over to the operating. And it slowly reduces each year as our dependency on, you know, infusions of money to the operating side are made up obviously by increases in revenue. Finally, that 5th year, we're not taking anything, and that's when we're putting the 4 million back in. And so that then gets down to the ending fund balance here. So that was the quick overview of the capital side, noting that from a project level standpoint, nothing has changed from our presentation at the last meeting. So this is an update item. It's not an action item. The notes up here in the financial side from the city's budget process standpoint. So the documents were published May 3rd. The city held their budget study sessions the week of May 10th and the 17th. And the adopted budget is to be published on June 22nd. Any comments, questions?
Arian, how many elevators can you do for $500,000? I think you said one, didn't you?
Yes, 1 or 2, depending on the level of need. We've seen just like a refreshing of the electronics and the interior of the cabs is roughly 250,000. And so
how many elevators do we have all together?
2, 5, 8, 9, 10. 10 in our facilities that would be covered here. The convention center is kind of a hybrid where we pay a portion of expenses related to elevators that serve the garage there because they're really kind of interdependent to the convention center itself. And then the city hall garage and the city's employee garage would kind of come out of the general fund, not out of this.
And what's the estimated, you know, how often do you have to do this for the 10 garage? If you just say the 10, how often would you have to do them to keep them functioning to a not an excellent category, but satisfactory state?
Yeah, so we're working with Public Works. So we just had them do and I can stop sharing because it's kind of hard to see the audience if we're just staring at this piece of document. Public Works did an evaluation of all of our elevators, and there are some that require a bigger investment now, and others can wait for 5+ years before we really need to do anything to them. So it's really kind of cyclical. By the time we've done this garage over here and the others we touch in 3 to 5 years, then those ones that we did today will be needed again at that 5-year time. So it's with the elevator expense, we're always having money there to do something in any year, but then that facility wouldn't be touched till the next 5-year process, if you will.
So basically every 5 years, you got to do every elevator.
I'd say it's a little longer than that. You know, if we do a complete overhaul, it's probably closer to 10.
Okay, thank you.
If it's
Got it.
a refurbish, might be more often.
Speaking of elevators, Arian, did we put a second elevator in 2nd and San Carlos?
No, we scrapped that project. So that was a nice to have, not need to have project. It would have been nice to have a redundant elevator. The 2nd and San Carlos is the only facility that has a single lone elevator. It does go out. When it does, it just creates.
Did Public Works do a design?
We had a conceptual design. We did not go as far as hiring the full-blown design.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys have any maintenance docs that you can share with the rest of us that show the maintenance schedule of these critical infrastructure improvements?
I do not have them just at the ready. It's a citywide contract that the vendor, so I think it's Coney Elevators, I think is who we use for the service. I'd have to double check that to 100%, but it's a citywide. So they service every elevator at, the police station, the fire stations, the libraries, wherever else we have elevators citywide. So we certainly can pull data on that. We put in a service call with Public Works when we need an elevator serviced, whether it's an emergency service requiring, then and now type service, or it's a third elevator in a site that we need serviced and it can wait till the next business day type of stuff. But we can, if you would like to see that, I could request the data.
Oh, I was just curious whether like you had a maintenance schedule for these things.
Yes, there is.
Thank
There
you.
is routine, regular maintenance. Unfortunately, it's the interior. So I'm certainly the farthest from an elevator expert. And every time these things break, I'm always surprised now when I go somewhere else and I see something actually working. I'm like, how do they get it always uptime? But
Yeah, well, thank you.
I saw Sarah's camera bump back on, and I don't know if you have anything from the world of commercial real estate that says elevators are always working 100% of the time.
The opposite is true. So yeah, the experience that you shared is accurate, fortunately.
All right, if there are no questions, comments, or anything on the financials, then we will keep moving forward into 21-22.
Okay, Aaron, you had some updates for us, item 7.
Yeah, so, we're slowly seeing, some upticks in activity. We've consistently seen that as things have opened, closed, become more restricted, less restrictive in terms of, activities and businesses and occupancy rates, our operations have certainly felt that, most notably at, like, say, the Market Street Garage with, restaurant activity. Office activity isn't back in any significant way, it doesn't seem like yet. But I wanted to just show a quick snapshot of some data that kind of just illustrates that point. Let's see here, let's share this. So this is the Market Street Garage. This is occupancy pre-COVID. So you can see we were bumping up close to 1,200 cars per day here. COVID hits, we go down to 0 because we effectively just shut the operations down and lifted the gates. Back in August, we turned stuff back on and we sat there. Then the winter months come, stuff really starts clamping down. We see this downward trend here. Spring starts back in February, we kind of start picking back up. So we see that across all of our locations. 3rd Street Garage here, just kind of petering along at about less than a third of our activity pre-COVID. 2nd and San Carlos Garage, kind of the same. Actually, maybe even around a quarter of the activity at this facility. 4th and San Fernando, kind of similar story all across. They haven't really seen a big fluctuation because this one's been held together in a way by the construction activity of the tower there across from City Hall. There's tons of construction workers that have been parking there pretty much since COVID started. The convention center, we were over capacity, basically maxing out almost every day, or not every day, but any event day. You can see that's just, there's 30, 40 cars in there currently. So not a whole lot of activity, but just kind of illustrates the activity from an on-street perspective. This is monthly revenue. We don't have occupancy for meters, but these are revenue at meters. March is obviously, because we shut down about halfway through the month, 0 through July. August, we came back, and you can see these little dips when things were more restrictive, and now they're coming back slowly. So we hope to continue to see those upward trends.
Good stuff.
And we need from a garage and revenue and occupancy standpoint, it'll really be driven by the office market coming back.
Hey, Arian, my big suggestion on potential way to increase the convention center parking a bit. So we reopened our facility last weekend to the general public. And one of the garages that we put on our website to park at is a convention center. We had a lot of people come in and say, I thought you said it was open, it was closed.
Yep, we had communications with if it wasn't you directly, it was folks in your office that we heard, because we do have the Almaden side closed, and we put up new signage to direct folks to make it more clear that exit is, or that entry and exit is closed, but to use the Market Street side.
Yeah, I went over and looked at it. It was, it's just the sign, unless you're looking straight at the sign, you can't see the sign. So as people just drive by, they just see the gates are down and they just keep going.
Yeah, I'll talk to the staff. I know we put up new signage. I'll make sure it's crystal clear.
Okay.
I have a question regarding, the long-term plan for downtown San Jose. Right now we still have a lot of al fresco dining. So what is the long-term plan for keeping it or kind of removing it in the future? And the reason why I ask is, some of the places or restaurants are taking, some of the street parking spaces.
And I know that program was approved, I believe, through the calendar year. I think there are some conversations around, depending on how much opens up and how much interest there is from these businesses to keep that, particularly through some of the early winter months, that it might open up earlier. But I know the program itself has been approved through the end of 21 calendar.
Yeah, that was my understanding, that it was just a kind of temporary thing. But maybe, for the next meeting, maybe you can give us a kind of understanding what are the long-term plans, meaning, for the next few years.
We can ask around. Again, that's not our direct ownership project, but we can certainly see what we can ask around if there's contemplation of a broader citywide extension.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other comments on that?
Arian, I have a question I just put in the chat. Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing and what you're expecting as it relates to monthly parking in the city garages downtown and what's happening with the wait lists?
So we do not have a wait list at any facility anymore. That evaporated when, everybody that didn't have long-term agreements canceled parking because they just weren't coming back. Obviously, there's some folks that are continuing to pay for it, mostly bigger businesses that find it easier to, maintain an account and just pay for the handful that may be using it. But there are no wait lists, so come one, come all. If you need parking or anticipate that you want parking, come and get it. And we will likely continue managing the portfolio like we have in the past, that to the extent there's space available, we welcome you to come and get it. Any other questions?
Let's move on to 7B.
7B, update on the parking access and revenue control system. Let's see. I have a couple of, let me open this, back this up. So we are, I think I've mentioned this before, that the devices in all of the garages in our parking access and revenue control system has been completed right before COVID shut down. We completed the City Hall garage, which was the last facility to get the technology done. there were pieces that needed to be done and features that needed to be completed at each of the facilities. And that's really what's been going on kind of behind the scenes since, obviously impacted by the closures of COVID and the ability for the vendor to be on site and out in the field. We've got the roadway parking guidance signs to replace I think there's 13 of them in the downtown core that have been dark for well over a year now, to direct traffic, to relay messages. So that project is a part of this, and that is in the final phases of being kind of approved. They're waiting on getting their permits from the city to install those signs. They'll go on the same basis. They'll be large, for lack of a better word, TVs effectively. So where the old signs were just cutouts with static information on a garage and then a small display of how many spaces were available, this will be a full digital board that will have more flexibility to customize the messaging and the display depending on what garages we want to send people to, what events might be happening. We can, so long as it doesn't interfere with any, signage restrictions, get creative with what we're putting on those. And then the build out of what we're calling the parking command center at the 4th and San Fernando. We took a vacant retail space on the ground floor right next to where the credit union used to be at the garage. That build out was just completed. And so now we're bringing in all the technology to effectively be able to manage all of the garages out of one central location. And I was going to share a couple of pictures with you of what that space is starting to look like. So this is the lobby. We envision that this will now become the public facing office for folks doing business in person with our parking operator SP Plus, whether it's paying a bill if they want to do it in person or get a key card or any other kind of in-person event, which typically now takes place at the Market Street garage. So we'll have a more welcoming public presence there. We'll have staff that's doing administrative work with our operator at these workstations. We have a manager's office here that'll oversee the staff at the command center. And then really kind of the nerve center of everything at the site will be this room here, which is the parking command center. We'll have 4 workstations set up in there where they can effectively take intercom calls from any facility and manage the transactions from this remote facility. So we've got 8 TVs on the wall. We're still finalizing the installation of all this. So disregard all the wires hanging everywhere. This was set up just one day so I could come in and take a couple photos for this. But we've got camera displays in every device. So every entry lane, exit lane, and pay on foot station has a camera. So we can pull up as many of those to have an overview. We have system health readings here. Red is bad, green is good. So what's going on in the system, what the activity levels are. These are data analytic dashboards that we have with occupancy and revenue. We have the license plate reader technology over on some of these screens here, where we can see when the vehicles are entering. If there are issues with a ticket transaction, we can tie that back to a license plate to ensure that we're calculating the fee correctly or that they're not swapping tickets or anything like that. We see the map of all of our facilities here. This has the occupancy levels. And we can customize these screens here with the camera views. So that's the layout of the space. We envision, initially keeping hours of operation for this, consistent with what we're doing now, about 6 or 7 a.m. till midnight. But as activity picks up, we'll start extending that to someday having 24/7, 365 presence in this center. And then that way we can actually keep our gates down at the exits. We currently lift our exit gates at the late evening hours, so folks aren't breaking the gate arms. We've generated the majority of our money at that point. There's very few cars left in there. Those that stay beyond that do leave. But then we can actually keep our gates down 24/7 as well. Small break room in the space for the staff that'll be working there. And I think that's the last photo in that makeup. But we're excited to bring this on. We are currently doing everything that's done in this office out of the Market Street garage on, you know, a small folding table and a couple of computer monitors. But we'll open this up, we think, kind of the end of the summer, August, hopefully September at the latest.
Arian, a very quick question. I recall the market office with SJ Park or SP Plus closes at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. What are the hours open to the public for this beautiful new center you've got?
Well, we haven't finalized that level of detail yet. The reason why the office closes at 1 is not that there aren't people there. It's that the work that they need to get done throughout a day without being interrupted that's the reason why we shrunk the public hours, is to actually facilitate getting all the work that they needed to get done in an 8-hour day. So they would work a traditional 8 to 5, but facilitate interaction with the public to pay for a key card or come pick up a new key card only during those hours. With this, most of the interaction with the public at the lanes will be here all hours effectively at some point. But again, just that public access, it may be similar. We might look to extend it if we have the people, but that's a resource and cost issue.
So it's going to be the same, at least initially.
At least initially, yes.
Thank you.
And we might have to augment it. I mean, if we see a huge spike in return to office work and people needing to pick up key cards and facilitating that, you know, we have the flexibility to do that. The great thing is if we get people registered and paying for monthly parking, let's say, as long as they input their license plate, they can enter and exit without having a physical key card.
Yeah.
To what degree can you and will you share like information on these license plates for, you know, safety reasons, like with SJPD, if there are crimes committed in the garages? I mean, do you have an automatic route to share this stuff with SJPD if someone gets their vehicle vandalized or anything else, or is it not possible?
That's not possible. There is a very strict ALPR policy that the city has to abide by. There's rules and regulations set forth by the California Vehicle Code and legislation that says this is not a shareable resource. There are very slim opportunities for it to be shared on a need to know, right to know basis from law enforcement agencies for specific things, but they typically would have to go through the legal process and produce warrants and legal documentation saying they had the rights to it. So it's an independent database that is not attached to anything, and you can't query it from another database like in looking for a stolen vehicle or something like that. So it's a very secured, very specific use case.
Thanks. I understand the negatives to that, but then there are some positives
Right, it's
you're able
yeah,
to, you know.
right. But unfortunately,
we're certainly able to if the right process is followed and SJPD requests it, and it comes through the right channels, then there's opportunities. But we also are purging this information on regular intervals. There's nothing personal tied to this. We do no queries against the DMV or anything. It literally, ABC 123 license plate was tied to ticket X, Y, and Z 123, and that's the extent of it.
Right. Yeah, it's just, you know, with all the you know, vandalisms and thefts at you know, for cars at these parking garages, you know, not just in San Jose, but in San Francisco and other municipalities, it would be nice if, you know, encourage people to park there and go, we know this place is safe, you know, but I understand the legal ramifications of it. So thank you.
So that's the extent of the 7B. Maybe jumping down to reports and coordination, 8A. Downtown promotions and marketing update. We met last week with staff from the Downtown Association to review our annual work plan. Um, Scott, I'm not sure if you were prepared to mention anything there, or I can briefly talk about that.
Yeah, you and Heather were in the meeting with Julian, Rick, and Autumn.
Yeah, so the funding that we provide for the services from the Downtown Association, this year we've activated, I believe it was $50,000. Is that right, Heather? And that'll be geared towards downtown promotion of various events and activities. They also provide services around outreach to new businesses, to large properties, to engage with them and provide those services. And so that'll continue throughout next year. Let's see, I had kind of the work plan. Let's see if there was anything that is.
I'm happy to jump in for an assist here. As we continue our recovery efforts downtown, it's clear that we have some perception barriers still with parking, the cost of parking. As you know, we have turned the meters on back downtown. Our data shows that our customers don't really mind paying for the meters. They do mind getting a parking ticket. That's been a real issue for us, as there's not many people downtown yet. But June 15th is coming. We feel that everybody is happy to going to be getting out of the tier system, and we're hoping to turn the spigot back on and start welcoming people back to offices and to start to have people parking again. We are finding that the 90-minute free parking really needs to be communicated more. We need to direct people to our public parking facilities and educate them where they can get the 90-minute free parking, that the validations programs do not exist automatically anymore. And our goal is really to invite people back. We know that they're coming downtown for other purposes, but they need to park when they come downtown, and we want to direct them into our public parking garages that are focused under your purview, the board's purview. And we need to do that in a lot of different ways. For instance, this last year, we didn't have anybody in the hotels, didn't have anybody in the offices. We didn't have anybody at the convention center. So we really focused on residents. Residents were our customer base. They were the ones that were coming downtown. They were the ones that were going to our curbs to do takeout from the restaurants. And they were the ones that were going to get a hot yoga treatment or go to the service businesses that really flexed and stayed open these last 15 months. So we're looking at increasing the digital assets that we have to help our customers, welcome them back, and to understand where they want to park is in these facilities. We're very interested in looking at the data and seeing with Arian and his team, looking at how much longer the 90 minutes people are going to be staying and generating revenue back into the parking fund, building back our monthly, getting people back on that waiting list, Sarah, and welcoming people back to downtown.
There's nothing else for 8A. I see 8B, City Council and Committee agenda items. I'm not aware of anything coming out of our shop. Heather, do you have anything for council? Unless I'm spacing it, I don't have anything on my to-do list.
Yeah, the only item that we have going is really kind of an off-street enforcement item that is going to be on consent here towards the end of June, related to our the city's participation in the Avasa program, which is the reimbursement we get from the state when we remove inoperable vehicles from the street via the vehicle abatement program. $1 from every vehicle registration in the county goes into a pot, and then that pot is used to reimburse various cities for their abatement activities, vehicle abatement activities. And that requires us to re-up. It's a 10-year stint, and that is ending here. And so we were going to council to re-up our participation in that program. It's an item on consent that is expected to move through without any issues. That's the only item I have.
The next meeting is on September 1st at 10 a.m. This agenda, I've put the location TBD. Fingers crossed things are looking up and it could be in person, whether or not you want that or not. I heard from some that the Zoom was working well for them. But I will send out information as I get it on our ability to hold an in-person, or if it'll be remote like this for that meeting as well. Are there any questions? I don't know that we set a record, but we're probably getting close to less than an hour for today's meeting.
It's always been my goal.
Yeah, hey, how come when I'm leaving, all the meetings got really short?
Well, then I think we are adjourned.
10:56. Thank you, everyone.